Hello, dear friends. Here we are. This is the Medium's Harvest, and this is day 19th from the book The Medium's Harvest. 90 chapters. Those were 90 meetings that happened, and we are here together studying each and every chapter with you. And this is a very special book, because it pays tribute to 100 years of the publishing of the Medium's book in 1960. After those 47 years of the publishing of this book, we are here tonight, and we have been here studying it in English. It was originally brought in through Chico Xavier in Portuguese. We're studying all the different facets of mediumship, and some people may ask, why do we need to study mediumship? Because many people have the misconception that mediumship is solely to be practiced. Actually, mediumship is an ability of the spirit that needs to be educated. And when we study mediumship, we can educate it. And once it's educated, we can use it more efficiently and productively. And when we say productively, it doesn't mean financial, because we shouldn't conjugate finances with mediumship. You know, mediumship is not a profession. So it's given to us freely, and we should freely exercise it. Some people claim that intelligence is also freely given to us. Yes, but intelligence and its exercise depends on your effort, on my effort. Mediumship does not depend on your effort or my effort. You are medium, and the phone rings from the spiritual realm to us. So how can I charge for something that does not depend on me? Completely different from the ability of intelligence. Intelligence is something that we need to make effort to develop, to educate. Mediumship does not depend on an effort. It's a natural ability given to us. But when we educate it, we use it more wisely. You see the difference? That's why people cannot claim that, oh, if we charge for the use of our intelligence as professionals, why can't I charge as mediums? That discussion is going to come later. But in the Gospel according to Spiritism, there's already that saying, what is given freely, freely should be received, never charging it. Not even asking for donations. Okay? So tonight, Emmanuel is going to write a dissertation on an item which is a simple paragraph, apparently, in the Medium's book, chapter 24, which is titled Identity of Spirits, and in item 267, item 10, because there are 7 sub-items in 267. He says the following. We're going to read it to you, because once we read it, we can go back to Emmanuel's dissertation, and understand better what he's referring to, okay? Good spirits never give orders. Okay, let's go back if you're entering now. We're reading a single paragraph, which is item 267, sub-item 10, in the Medium's book, chapter 24, Identity of Spirits. How to distinguish good from bad spirits. Don't you want to know? I want to know too. And let's see, because these qualities are unique. And as a friend of mine said, Alzira Bessa, she's the great grandniece of Professor Eurípides Barçanufo, who coordinates his projects in the school in the city of Sacramento, Brazil. She says, evil and good are so different. They're unmistakable. And she's right, because it's written here. Identity of Spirits, chapter 24, item 267, sub-item 10. Kardec says, good spirits never give orders. They do not wish to impose themselves, but they only provide advice, counsel. If they are not listened to, they withdraw. Evil spirits are authoritarian. They give orders, they want to be obeyed, and they do not withdraw no matter what. All spirits who impose themselves betray their status. They are exclusivist and absolute in their opinions, and they pretend to be privileged with the truth. They demand blind trust and never appeal to reason, since they know the reason will unmask them. Isn't that beautiful? So Emmanuel, based on this paragraph, he writes the following. Chapter 19, The Medium's Harvest. Spirits of Light. There was a meeting with Chico Xavier and other friends on March 7th, 1960. Paraphrasing the luminous definition of charity by the Apostle Paul, in chapter 13 of the first letter to the Corinthians, we dare to apply the same concepts to the benevolent and wise spirits who guard our evolution. Even if we spoke the language of darkness and did not possess even a sliver of understanding, to them we would be no more than pitiable siblings in need of light. Even if we lingered in the vocations of crime, falling into all manners of sin and retaining all our vices to the point of throwing ourselves indefinitely into the farthermost valley of evil, all to our own misfortune, to them we would only be unhappy creatures in need of love. Even if we dissipated all our energies in a plot of guilt and dedicated our lives to the exercise of cruelty without the slightest notion of our duty, to them these would be simply reasons calling for greater compassion. The spirits of light are patient. In all manifestations they are benign. They do not envy. Spirits of light have no pride. They show no levity, which is lack of seriousness. They are not arrogant. They do not behave in inconvenient ways. They do not get angry. They are not self-interested. They hold no distrust. They rest not in injustice, but rejoice in the truth. They tolerate everything. The spirits of light await everything. They suffer everything. The charity of spirits of light never fail. As for us, one day the gradual revelations will end. The phenomena will cease, and the trials no longer necessary will conclude. For now, we partly know and partly imagine ourselves. The emissaries of the eternal good, however, accompany us with perfect devotion, knowing that in matters of higher spirituality, we're nearly always still children. We speak as children, We think as children, and we judge childishly. But they are certain that later, when we strip ourselves of our human deficiencies, we will abandon all the trivialities. We will then see their greatness as in a mirror, comparing our narrow selfishness with the immeasurable love with which they assist us. Thus, it is comforting to recognize that even if we still own a faltering faith, an imperfect hope, or a capricious charity, we have the charity of the Lord's messengers with us, which is always greater, for it is inexhaustible. Hope, 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 hope. Today the message is about hope. Hope, 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 hope. Why? We are not alone. Yes, we are never alone. And we are so loved. Yes, we are. If we look at the sky and we see the stars, astronomers have come to tell us in their studies the trillions of stars that exist around the world. And in the Spirit's book by Allan Kardec, we find out in a footnote that stars are places where superior pure spirits meet, and the light that is radiated is a byproduct of their pure thoughts, giving life and light to inhabitants of planets that depend on them. And you and I right now, we are going around the sun of our solar system. The sun of our solar system. Isn't that interesting? We are naturally gravitating around it. We have a Lord. And we just need to be aware that there is the Lord Christ, in the name of God, bringing to us a new direction. And the new direction is the one we're getting tonight. Emmanuel poetically writes this chapter, paraphrasing Paul of Tarsus on the famous chapter 13 of the first letter to the Corinthians. You know that verse that many people use for their weddings. But this is beyond, it's the wedding of all times. The marriage with the conscience, the divine conscience. And here he says, the same concepts he is applying, paraphrasing that chapter, to the wise and benevolent spirits that guard our evolution. Stop. Because Emmanuel brings it, the teachings of Kardec, close to our hearts. Now we're feeling it. He's saying, yes, the good spirits are all that, but they are all that and they care for you and for me. They are guarding our evolution. They are tutoring us. They're protecting us. They're supporting us. They're bringing us, moving us forward. Isn't that amazing? How do you feel knowing that there are superior spirits right now on the earth, in your life, guarding your evolution, helping your progress, thinking how they are going to make you progress more steadily, how they are going to make me progress more steadily, us together. Like a teacher, if you know of the job of a teacher, while the students are home doing whatever the teachers are, in their homes thinking about the good teachers, of course. They are thinking about how to optimize their educational approach. Right? Parents, the good parents, they are always thinking about how they can best work with their children. Right, Nora, Brazil? So, Emmanuel is telling us, even, he's giving us 3 crazy conditions, he's saying. If we spoke the language of darkness and had no bit of understanding, the superior wise spirits that guard an evolution, how would they feel? They would feel compassion towards us. They would feel that we are brothers and sisters, right, La Souza? So, put a pause here. When you make a mistake, first thing we say, my guardian angel must be so upset with me. I don't think so. No, but Jesus is gonna be so furious with me. No, I don't think so. We would say in psychology that those guesses are about us, projecting onto them, and it's more about us than them. Okay? So it's about us. If people mess up, you may be furious. You may think that they are feeling this that way. But the superior spirits, even if we speak the language of darkness, they're going to look at us with compassion. Emmanuel says, even if we lingered in crimes, doing all possible wrongs, like the Holocaust, and all these crazy crimes that happened around the world or still happen, how would the superior spirits feel about us? To them, we would only be unhappy individuals in need of love. No, yes. Emmanuel is teaching us how they see us. How they see criminals. So we need to learn with them. Because sooner or later we're going to get there. And the sooner, the better. Why? Because the sooner, the happier I'll be. Right? Finally, Emmanuel gives us another scenario. Even if we did everything wrong, were completely filled by guilt, we kept working on the highest levels of cruelty, the wise and benevolent spirits that guard our evolution would simply look at us with more reasons for greater compassion. It's important to keep this in mind. And it's important to tell our children that when they go wrong, instead of saying, God's going to be upset with you. No, that's not right. I think your guardian angel is going to feel sorry that you're wasting your time this way. Don't you think so? Because he's working with you. And why are you going to waste time this way if they are investing on you? And the same for us. Because we often are childish, says Emmanuel. Emmanuel says, we speak as children, always. Think as children, judge childishly. In matters of higher spirituality, we're nearly always still children. Very humbling to read this. And Emmanuel is not accusing you or me. As humble as he got to be, he is including himself in the list of being yet immature to understand the higher levels of spirituality. Beautiful. And he says the beautiful qualities of the spirits that guide you and I, humanity, they are patient. So they're not going to be upset with you because they're patient. And like in a cartoon I was watching with Virginia, Peg and Cat, Peg plus Cat, when she gets frustrated or she says, I'm gonna freak out, and the cat says, let's calm down and count down to 5. So she says 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 before she really engages in that emotion. So much wisdom. And that's a way to conquer patience. Let's see what God has for us. Like Joseph of Egypt, he used to say that God knows better, knows more than he did. He used to say, God knows more than I. Yeah. In all manifestations, the wise spirits are benign. They do not envy. They have no pride. So they don't think they are superior to us. They don't lack seriousness. They're committed. But they are not arrogant. They are not inconvenient. They do not get angry. They don't have interests regarding their person. They help for the sake of the good. They are tolerant. They believe everything, so they will never think that we amount to nothing. They're always going to say, wait, we're going to keep working on it. Hold on, hold on. They suffer everything, of course. One day, I realized, if when we see our children making a mistake, we feel sorry, and we may even cry, and we even suffer with their mistakes. Imagine the superior spirits that love us. They suffer in the sense they are with us. They dedicate their lives for us. It's going to be our turn one day to do the same for others. But their charity never fails. Okay? Now he says, one day we'll see their greatness like in a mirror and we'll compare to our selfishness. And he finalizes, it is comforting. That's why Spiritism is the promised consoler. Because it brings to us the certainty that we are not alone, that we are always progressing, and that there are wise, good spirits caring and guiding us. So we need to be more willing to communicate with them in our prayers. Vanessa, I'm angry now. I cannot pray when I'm angry. No. That's when you should pray. Right? That's the song we've been teaching to our children. The wheels of the heart go round and round, round and round, round and round. The wheels of the right round and round, round and round to God. And if I'm a little angry, that's okay, that's okay. Let us pray. That's when we pray. Oh, but I'm ashamed. I'm feeling guilty, I cannot pray. So take the gospel according to Spiritism. Let me take it here. Take the gospel according to Spiritism by Kardec. Go to the chapter about prayers, a collection of prayers, okay? And in that chapter, collection of prayers, he begins by giving an introduction, and then there are several prayers, starting from the Lord's Prayer. By the way, our dear Pope Francis today revealed that he wants to change one sentence there. But you know what's beautiful? I'm going to read this to you, okay? Today, Pope Francis was releasing that he thinks that sentence, lead us not into temptation, should be changed in the Lord's Prayer. But you know, believe it or not, in the Gospel according to Spiritism, it's already changed. It's already changed for the same rationale incurred at Kardec's time. Yes, do not let us fall into temptation. Pope Francis was right. He says, God doesn't lead us into temptation. So it's do not let us fall into temptation. And that's more correct. But Kardec thought about it way back when. That's why we're saying study Spiritism, because Spiritism is ahead. We can expedite, like Dr. Gary Schwartz said in a beautiful interview at Kardec Radio a while ago. If we read these books, we're gonna expedite the progress, individual and collective progress on the earth. I have no doubt about it. No doubt. And here we have, it's comforting to realize and to recognize that even if we are wrong and we have, this is beautiful, a faltering faith, you know, today we believe, tomorrow we doubt. I believe in God, tomorrow I doubt. Why is God allowing this to happen? Imperfect hope. Because we have hope today. No, I hope things are going to work out, and then tomorrow I'm not so sure. I'm discouraged. I feel things are not moving to the right direction. Or a capricious charity. What is a capricious charity? It's a charity that is not stable in its true foundation, altruistic foundation. It's like, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be benevolent because I feel that I'm gonna gain something. So there's some form of whim there. Capricious. Even if we have faltering faith, imperfect hope, and capricious charity, okay, the Lord's messenger still be charitable with us because their charity is greater, because it is inexhaustible. It doesn't end. Think. Let us think together. If you found the how good it is to be good at our level, you're not going to stop. Now imagine higher levels. It's good to be good. And do the good is rewarding in itself. It's worthwhile investing on doing the good. There is only good when we do the good. And the higher spirits are teaching us that. So as Emmanuel paraphrases, even if we're cruel, criminal, wrong. We're still being guarded and cared for by them. They're not going to impose themselves onto us, but they're going to still find strategies kindly, gently, to invite us to go back to track, to our true nature. So if you see somebody who is way off, remember what we said yesterday. They are children of God. And when we make mistake, we are children of God. We reincarnated to learn to do good. That's why we need to study, to know best. And Spiritism is a treasure. Said Chico Xavier. It's a treasure. Because once we know it, we move forward more steadily. Right, friends? So here we have, let me say hi to the community, and then we'll go to the final part of today's message. Laura Coliri, now in Tennessee, how are you? Ana Oliveira, good to have you here, my friend Nico and Rihanna, how are you? Rosa Maria, how are you? Jose Gonzalez, how are you? Justina Martiri, big hug to you. John the Rosa, how are you? La Souza, how are you? Nora Brazil, how are you? Andrea Calzolarinas, how are you? Andriele Mesquita, welcome. Annie Mercia, how are you? Nina Dewey, beautiful mother. Julija, talking, another beautiful mother. Danny and Erica, we miss you, Danny and Erica. Constance, how are you? Big hug to Anthony too. Teresa Castro, friend of the heart. Angelita de Paula, how are you? Célio, I'm so happy you're here too. Big hug to you and your beautiful wife. Sunshine, how are you? Leia Severo, missing you, my friend. Sueli Rezende, oh, my friends from Getú. Pérola Bronze, how are you? Lisa Teles, how are you? Adilson, big hug. Raquel Bakeshi, how are you, Raquel? Patrícia, big hug, my friend, and to Tiago as well. Lisa Teles, Ceissa, how are you, Ceissa? Karina Alice, how are you? Okay, so here we have Raquel, Vanessa, is the event tomorrow in Atlanta still going to happen? Are you still going to be there? Have the tickets, but the weather here is bad. Unfortunately, Raquel, we had to make surrender. We changed our flights twice since yesterday to make it happen, but the snow in Atlanta does not allow the flights to come in from here, at least, or other place. I know I've heard from Anna and her husband Lucio that more than 600 flights have been canceled by Delta. We're gonna have snow here tomorrow in our area, in Washington DC area, so there are no flights for us. We had to cancel, but we're hoping we can reschedule and come there, Raquel. We apologize, but it's involuntary. In 20 years traveling for spiritist purposes, it's the first time that this happened. There's always a first time. But God knows better, right? God knows better than I. But thank you for asking, Raquel. I'm not sure about the event, but Ana, Alessandra, Ezio, Rafael Medeiros will know better whether the event will be going forward. And we won't be able even to attend the center talk in the Christian community of Atlanta, unfortunately. We hope to reschedule because we have the credit of the flight already. Jorge Monteiro Gomes, how are you? Rudy, how are you? Thank you, Raquel. So, talking about spirits of light, they are guarding our evolution. If they are allowing the storm, the snow to happen, there's a reason. I don't know, but there is a reason. So we say, oh well, let us have a plan B. Plan B is to rebook for another date. We'll let you know, okay? Tomorrow, when we come back. But before tomorrow, our homework, what is it? Our homework is regarding our interaction with the spirits of light. Okay? Tomorrow when we come back. Chapter 20, they do too. And it says, let us help the companions of mediumship in our temples of fraternization and love. It's about inner cooperation in the Spirit Center. Shall we, friends? Big hug to you, and until tomorrow.